Hello, everybody, and welcome to my first ever Ravnica Allegiance Draft here on the channel. Welcome to everybody viewing the video. Before I start talking about the cards, I do want to remind you that if you enjoy the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. If the video gets to 50 thumbs up, 50, I will be doing an in-depth draft analysis in a comment that I will pin, and also it's just one of the best ways to show your support for the channel. Also, remember to hit that subscribe button in order to get updates for whenever I post new content. But without further ado, let's get into the pack. Our rare Immolation Shaman. Whenever opponent activates an ability, deal 1 damage to that player, and it can gain +3/+3 menace. Pretty decent. Looking at the rest of the cards, I think Hazda Officer is decent, but nothing special. I really do like Ministrant of Obligation, though it is pretty easy to kill. Goblin Gathering is something we could go deep on sometime. Terramander is a card that I do want to try out. But I guess we'll start off with the rare. It seems pretty powerful. There's a decent number of activated abilities. There are the Guild Mages, and having this 5-mana ability makes it really hard to deal with later on. So seems like a good card worth trying out, though we are by no means committed after that pick. Gyre Engineer is a card that I really do think is powerful, as is Law Mage's Binding. The strategy that I'm going to be employing is the 5-pick method that I often use in draft sets. Essentially what I like to do is I like to... okay, I'm just going to shrink that a little bit. I like to just, in guild sets, because the payoffs are so often just strong cards in your guild, what I like to do is just figure out which guild is open by taking the best card out of every pack early on. Revival Revenge is an interesting rare. I haven't read this one yet. Return target creature card. So you can get some value from Revival, and Revenge is pretty bad and limited. So here I'm choosing between Law Mage's Binding and Gyre Engineer. I think the Gyre Engineer is going to be a little bit stronger overall, and I'm not afraid of just abandoning the Immolation Shaman. It's not like a super powerful first pick anyway. But Gyre Shaman seems like it can do some pretty broken things in the right deck. Okie doke. Lumbering Battlement. So you can exile your other creatures. And then, wow, that's an interesting effect. I don't think it's super good, but it's definitely an interesting one. This pack seems relatively weak overall, though. 5 mana, 4/5 Vigilance isn't insane or anything. But this pack doesn't really have a ton of strong cards. Smeltward Ignis is an interesting one. For a Rakdos deck, or even a Gruul deck, this effect is kind of nice. Just especially because the 2-mana 2/1 is just a fine body. I think Imperious Oligarch is probably the best card in this pack, so I think that's what I'm going to be taking here. Not seeing a clear signal of what deck color combination is open, but Imperious Oligarch, definitely a card that I'm pretty happy to play. The problem with that pack, I'm not actually disappointed with the starters of this draft. I have a card that can go in either of the red guilds. I have some other strong cards. Imperious Oligarch is probably the worst of these three. I do think this activated ability is quite nice, because a 4/6 menace is kind of a threatening creature, and it feels like you're going to be able to ping them a decent amount. So I guess we'll see how good that card is if I end up playing it. Another thing to keep in mind is that early on in the format, trying out rares is usually a pretty nice strategy. Bolrac Clan Crusher is a card that I actually really do think is quite potent. I think you're going to be able to get a lot of mileage out of this, so I think this card is probably the best card in the pack. Get the Point is another card that is also quite powerful. I think it's definitely between these two cards. I still haven't selected which guild I'm playing. Slimebind is another card that I could see picking if there weren't two cards that are a little bit better than it in the pack. I think Slimebind and Get the Point are pretty close, and I'd probably take this one early in the draft, but I think I'm just going to take the Clan Crusher and see where that leads me. Gatebreaker Ram is actually a card that I really do want to try. I think this card is very strong. It doesn't like slide perfectly into any guild, but if you have like 3 or 4 gates in your deck, Gatebreaker Ram just as a 3-mana 3/3 a lot of the time, and then potentially getting bigger is terrifying. So Civic Stalwart is an interesting one. It could potentially pair with my Oligarch into an Orzhov deck. I could just take a Rakdos Guildgate, but I don't really want to take a Rakdos Guildgate. I have 2 cards that work relatively nicely in Gruul. I could just take a Gatebreaker Ram, which I think is the best card in the pack, and then just take gates a little bit higher. None of these other cards are really calling to me. Undercity Scavenger is decent, but I think I'm just going to take the Gatebreaker Ram, try to get a couple gates to facilitate that. So Incubation Incongruity is not a card that I'm a huge fan of. I don't think it's super great. It's just the problem with it is that killing their creature and giving them a 3/3 is just like not insane, and then looking to the top 5 cards of your library and then maybe potentially whiffing is not great. High Alert is unplayable, I think. There's not really going to be a deck for it. Summary Judgment is really good. I'm surprised to see this still in the pack. It's one of the better commons in the set. So maybe that's a sign that white's open, or maybe people just don't value the card the same way I do. That's another thing to keep in mind, that early in the format, the card valuations vary wildly. But I think I will take it. It is the best card in the pack, and I'm just trying to settle in on my guild. I could take a Simic Guildgate, but if black-white ends up being open, I'm going to be really happy to have this. Whereas if I end up in blue-green, the Guildgate is a little bit hit or miss. I'm not really looking to splash. Chillbringer is another card that's quite nice. Maybe some late signs of Selesnya, though there is also a Savage Smash, which is a card that I do think is quite nice in the Gruul decks. So this is interesting, whether I take a Gruul card and start committing a little bit more heavily, or take a Chillbringer. I think I'm going to take the Gruul card, try to move into Gruul here. I have 3 cards that are pretty decent in Gruul. Chillbringer doesn't really go with a ton of my other cards, so I'm just going to take the Savage Smash here. I do need to commit at some point. I think this is the point in the draft where I'm going to be pretty fine on playables if I just start picking a color combination. I think Territorial Boar is a nice 2-drop in Gruul. It's good, important to have 2-drops, and I think this one's going to be good. Sagittarius Volley is a nice sideboard card, but I'm still just taking main deck cards. Slimebind still coming around pretty late, but looks like I'll hopefully be able to get the Gruul cards that I want. Rampaging Rendhorn is a nice card, for sure. 5 mana 4/4 Haster, or 5 mana 5/5. It also triggers the Boar, any cards that care about 4 or more power. It can be a card with a counter for the Clan Crusher. There's a Gruul Locket, but I don't really think you want to be playing the Lockets in Gruul. Late Hasda Officer, though this isn't like a spectacular card or anything, but we'll just take the Rampaging Rendhorn. And I really do like Gift of Strength in Gruul. I think it's actually one of the combat tricks that you're really looking to play, so pretty happy to take that here. I think it's much better than Storm Strike, for instance, because the key with Gift of Strength is you can use a Riot creature with haste and just get them out of nowhere. So you play your Rendhorn, play Gift of Strength on it, and just give it +3/+3 out of nowhere, essentially. Here, I'll just take the Axebane Beast. Hopefully not to play it, but you never know. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do. I'll take a Simic Locket. I'm not going to be playing a Slimebind off of a splash, but maybe I'll open a rare that I want to splash or something of that nature. And then Root Snare is a card that you can sideboard in against certain decks sometimes. Ooh, this is a nice big guy. 7 mana 6/6 Trample Haster. I'll take the Wrecking Beast over the Mammoth Spider. I'm not sure which one's better off of the cuff, but Wrecking Beast definitely seems pretty potent, I will say. Okay, so interesting pack here. I think that Savage Smash #2 would not be a bad pick. Definitely a card that is potent. Rebel Belt Runner is a card that I would definitely like to play. 3 mana 3/3s are going to be good, almost guaranteed. Do want to make sure I get enough 2-drops. I like the 3 mana 2/3 Reach in Gruul. It helps against the small flyers that they can generate from Afterlife cards. In Orzhov, or just any black or white deck can have Afterlife cards, so it helps against those. And also, it's just like fine. 3 mana 2/3 is not bad. I mean, it's like mediocre. I like Savage Smash here. I'm going to take the Savage Smash. And other cards in this pack, I think Gutterbones is a very good card. A lot of the time, this type of card says can't block, but this can block, so it's just really annoying for a lot of effects. It does have a limited return usage, but a lot of the time you can have like a pinger or something. Sphinx of New Prov is a card that I would happily play if I was playing blue-white, but I'm really far from that direction. I'm not really looking to splash Guildgate, but hopefully I can pick up a couple of Gruul Guildgates to power this Gatebreaker Ram. Ooh, hello, Nikia of the Old Ways. Okay. So this is a strong rare. 5 mana 5/5, can't cast non-creature spells, but I can cast stuff like really cheaply. I can get double mana. So I'm not sure if I want that or just a Frenzied Erranx, to be quite honest. Frenzied Erranx. I mean, this is just a 5 mana 5/5. And I don't really have that many great uses for my mana. I guess it could help me ramp that out, but then I can't cast my Savage Smashes. I think I'm going to take Frenzied Erranx over it. That's actually... Yeah, I think this is more of like a build-around card, and I just don't think I'm going to be able to get the cards to build around it effectively, but Frenzied Erranx is incredible. I'd be pretty happy to wield this Gift of Strength. Gift of Strength is really nice, especially with like Frenzied Erranx types cards. And then hopefully I'm still hoping to pick up a couple gates. Trollbred Guardian, you may think, hey, but that's a Simic card. But Trollbred Guardian is still quite nice. Skewer the Critics, however, I think is going to be my pick. Definitely a very, very strong card, and one that I'm happy to play. Trollbred Guardian is nice, but I do already have 2 5-drops. Even though it is a really nice combo with Bullrack Clan Crusher, I think that this cheap removal is a lot harder to replace, than 5-drops. Like if Trollbred Guardian's not going to make it back, but Rampaging Renthord might, and they have a similar effect in a lot of games as like the 5-mana 5/5s. But I think Skewer the Critics is going to be a nice pickup here. Yeah, I already have a lot of expensive cards. I'm just looking to fill out the lower part of my curve if I can. Okay. Definitely not seeing a ton of the cards that I want at the lower end of the curve, but I don't mind running a Gore Clan Wrecker if I have to. It's probably a little bit better than Axebane Beast. 4-mana 3/3 Menace is probably just better than 4-mana 3/4. So I will take the Gore Clan Wrecker here over Active Treason. A couple cards I do want to mention. I don't think Growth Spiral is particularly playable in a Simic deck. You just want to be playing creatures early, and then Growth Spiral. You're not really ramping super heavily, I don't think, in Simic, so I think Growth Spiral is a card that you don't really want to be playing. Senate Griffin, however, is a card that I think you'll play in a blue deck or a white deck. It does shine its work best in Azorius, because Azorius cares a lot about flyers and flying over for damage as their win condition, but I think it's just going to be a good card in any deck that can run it. Scuttlegator, not a card that I'm a huge fan of. It's really expensive to adapt it so it can actually start attacking, but Gore Clan Wrecker, a card that I'm pretty happy to play, so I can take out this Axebane Beast. Now I can get a Rubble Pelt Slinger, so that's nice. Start getting some cheaper cards. I do want to have, ideally, 6 2-drops. That's where I'd like to be. We're not even halfway through Pack 2, and I already have 2 pretty good ones, so I'm not unhappy with where I'm at right now. Important to note for the Territorial Boar that the way Riot is worded, the creature enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it, so the Frenzied Airings can trigger the Territorial Boar. Rubble Slinger, definitely just going to take this as a 3-drop. Need to start filling out my curve. I'm not going to play Gateway Plaza just to trigger the Gatebreaker Ram. I'm perfectly willing to abandon the Gatebreaker Ram if I just don't see any gates that are in my colors. I'm not sure how beneficial it would be to just play 1-color gates. I don't think that's ideal, but maybe I could experiment with that. Burn Bright is a card that I do not think is what Gruul really wants to be doing. I think Gruul would just rather play a hasty creature like Rentorn to push through burst damage rather than play Burn Bright at instant speed. I already have 2 5-drops. I think I might wheel the Rentorn in my opening pack, so I'm looking at the Brush Strider here. The life gain could be relevant against certain decks, and just a 3-mana 3/2 to help me beat down on the opponent is kind of nice. Pretty late Imperious Oligarch. This card seems pretty bad to me. Bring to Trial is definitely pretty niche, so I'm just going to take the 3-mana 3/2 that can gain me some life. Okay, so this is the type of situation where I'm like, okay, I just took a Brush Strider, and then this pack has 3 cards I want. Obviously, I really do like Bullrack Clan Crusher, but I don't think I want to have multiples. It does go vastly down in value because you only have so many creatures with counters on them, so I don't think I'm going to take that here. Gruul Beastmaster, however, is really nice. It can be some nice burst damage, you can attack, give a creature +2/+0, and as it comes in with haste. Skewer the Critics is really nice as well, though. I think I'm just going to take Skewer the Critics. Really nice removal effect, really nice way to push through those last points of damage, and it can be a really efficient card. Flames of the Raise Boar. This card is really nice. 6 mana, deal 4 damage to a creature, and then you can deal 2 damage to each other creature they control if you have a big creature. So by that point, hopefully I'll have one of my big guys out, and I can just completely smash them. I already have a couple Savage Smashes, a couple Skewer the Critics, so I don't really need Titanic Brawl or another Savage Smash. I already have a lot of removal effects for those situations. 4 effects is more than enough. I don't really need the Rentorn. I think the other one's going to wheel, but I think that this Flames of the Raise board could just win me a game on its own. And as I said, the Rampaging Rentorn did come back. However, I am just going to take the Rubble Slinger. I think Rubble Slinger, filling out my lower part of my curve is going to be really important here. And I think Rentorn is going to keep coming around because nobody else seems to want it. Gift of Strength, exactly the card I wanted to wheel. I don't really need an Axebane Beast. Sagittar's Volley is interesting, but I do have 4 removal spells that can kill almost all of the flyers in the set, and Gift of Strength is a really nice combat trick. The thing is here, I think 2 combat tricks is really where you want to be. So this makes it so I don't really need a combat trick later, whereas Sagittar's Volley could be a sideboard card that I really do want. I'm going to take Sacrifice Volley. I think I might see a Gift of Strength later on, and there's only so many. I only really want to run 2 Gift of Strength. I don't want to run too many non-creature spells. I'm definitely taking the Rentorn here, especially now that I have a Flames of the Raised Boar to help trigger it. I'll take a Root Snare. I'm not going to... I'll just take a Scuttlegator. Maybe I want to side that in certain matchups. And the anti-land card, maybe. You never know. I don't think I'll ever side an anti-land card, but... basically, right now I'm feeling pretty good about my deck. I have 12 creatures, 6 spells. I think I would like to get several more creatures. Oh my goodness, we opened a Mythic on color! This is how you do it, boys. This is exactly how Magic was meant to be played. Opening up the on color Mythics is the key to success, as they say. Yeah, so Ravager Worm, definitely a great card. It's a 6 mana 4/5, and it can fight a creature when it comes into play, or you can destroy a land with an activate ability. So basically, it's like a 6 mana 4/5 haster, or a 6 mana 5/6 that fights something, so, or a 6 mana 4/5 that fights something and then can attack them. Definitely taking the Ravager Worm here. Another big creature here. Pretty happy to get it. It also can trigger, be big enough for my Flames of the Raised Boar. Let's just double check. Okay, perfect. I'm still on camera. Okay, definitely taking the Ravager Worm. I would be really happy to get a Sauroform hybrid. I really like that card. I do need more 2-drops for my deck, but my deck can definitely go into the late game. So I may be just more of a mid-rangey deck. I have a couple of 2/3s. I don't think the Gatebreaker Ram's in the deck right now. I have nice little top-end finishers, some strong effects late in the game. So pretty happy with how my deck is looking. Okay. Okay, Ballorak, Clan Crusher. How many cards do I have to put counters on themselves? This guy puts a counter, this guy puts a counter. These 2 guys put counters, this guy can put a counter, this guy can put a counter. So Clan Crusher is looking decent here. It's also just a 5 mana 4/4. There's another Savage Smash, though. I might just take the Savage Smash. Savage Smash seems really nice. I would ideally have a couple more Dav creatures for the clan. I'm just going to take the Crusher, and then I don't have to play it. I already have 2 Savage Smashes, so I don't really think I'm going to need more of them. I don't know if I'm going to even get a gate, so I don't think the Ram is going to be good in my deck right now. Ooh, another Territorial Boar. I like that. That's definitely a 2-drop that I'm happy to play. Gravelhide Goblin's another one. I think the Boar might be a little bit better just because there's a couple of things that have 1 toughness that are kind of annoying. So I think I'm going to take the Boar over it. I really like how consistent my early game curve is going to be. I have a lot of green cards early. I don't have any super hard casting requirements. Another thing with the Boar is that it works better with the fight spell because you can make it a 4/4. On turn 3, you can kill their 3/3 with it, whereas you can't with the Gravelhide Goblin. So that's going to be a bit of a tiebreaker for me as well. I do like the Goblin. Hopefully it wheels comes back. I'd be happy to play it because it's a 2-drop. Where historically a 2/1 would be bad against 1/1s, but I think it'll actually be fine against them because you can pump it if they do block with their 1/1. Tin Street Dodger, not a card I'm really happy to play in Gruul. You don't really care about triggering damage. I mean, I guess Skewer the Critics would care about that, but I'm just going to take the Territorial Boar here. Okay, so Sphinx of Foresight is definitely a great card, but I'm not blue, but I think this is definitely a really good card. 4 mana 4/4s are just good and limited. Sharktoe Crab is a pretty good one as well. It's funny, we've seen a ton of Simic guild gates, but we aren't Simic, so our Gatebreaker Ram is sad. Gravelhide Goblin is the front runner here for me. I don't think Spewer is exactly what I want to be doing in this deck. I only have 2 cards that care about Spectacle, and I'm not necessarily going to be ahead in every game. I don't have the most aggressive curve out deck, but I have a pretty decent mid-range deck. Spewer seems like more of the card for an all-in aggressive deck that doesn't really care about its own life total, has a ton of Spectacle cards, but I'm just going to take the Gravelhide Goblin here. I think it's going to be an effective 2-drop. Let's see. Dovin's Acuity. I think this card is a trap. Definitely shouldn't be playing it. It looks like Disinformation Campaign, which is why I think people will play it, but I just think the card isn't good enough. Because you're not getting the card advantage that you were getting from the Disinformation Campaign. Oh my goodness, another great pack for me. Cindervines is not an insane rare, but it's definitely playable. There's a decent number of non-creature spells, and so this damage can add up, and it's a nice sideboard card. However, Zertog Goblin is the real card I'm excited about in this pack. 2 mana 3/3 is just brutal. Really, really powerful. Also, it's a card with a counter for my Bulrak Clan Crusher. Is really, really good on turn 2. There's a Gruul Guildgate, which I'm sad to have to pass because some mana consistency is nice. But my deck isn't super mana heavy. The Gatebreaker Ram's probably not going to happen anyway, so I'm just going to be very happy to snap up a Zertog Goblin. Arrestor Zeal is actually one of my favorite designs from the set. I mean, I'm not playing the card, but I like talking about the cards in the downtime. I think it's a really cool effect. I think it's going to be play out pretty well because sometimes you can get that burst damage with the addendum effect, and then a lot of the time it's just a +2/+2. So Zertok Goblin, my 2-drop slot has definitely filled out really nicely this pack. I've gotten 3 2-drops in a row, and I'm looking to pick up a 4th one with the Silhana Wayfinder, I think. Enter the battlefield, top 4, creature or land. Yeah. So this is really nice. Just a nice way to smooth my draw out a little bit. I can find my powerful late game cards if I need them. I can find lands if I need them early. I wouldn't mind running a Mammoth Spider in this deck in normal circumstances, but I do already have 4 or 5 drops, so I probably wouldn't run it in this deck, but I think this card is fine in Gruul. Helps you deal with the flyers that can be problematic. Not really a huge fan of Active Treason, especially in this deck that's more of a mid-rangey deck, but the Wayfinder is really nice. Ooh, it's an 8-drop. Vigilance, Trample, Haste. Oh my gosh, this is just going to end the game in a lot of games that you cast this. Do I take it and play it? I don't know if I play it, but I think I take it over like a Simic Guildgate and a Gruul Locket. Though I could see playing a Gruul Locket in this deck, honestly. Going from 3 mana to 5 mana is actually pretty nice. I have a 7-drop and a 6-drop. This is also a 6-drop. The problem with this card is you can't play it ever. It would have been kind of a nice card to go with the Sagittar rare, but I think it's correct to take the Gruul Locket over it. Gruul Locket actually seems really nice. Going from 3 to 5 is actually pretty relevant in this deck. Getting another Gore Clan Wrecker is pretty nice here. So I'm fine playing that if I need to. Ooh, Burning Tree Vandal, another 3-drop. I like this one a lot. Helps you get rid of excess lands. Regenesis is kind of nice as a 5-mana draw 2, essentially. But I think that I'm going to be fine in terms of I'm going to have enough stuff to be doing with my mana that I don't really need to be drawing to. It's a bit slow, and it's not super efficient draw to, and sometimes it's not even going to be guaranteed. I think I'm just going to take the Burning Tree Vandal. Any card with Ride is really nice because of my double Bolrac Clan Crushers. So Ceruli Caretaker. Not really where I want to be, I don't think. I guess I'll take it, but I'm not really looking to play it. And then I'll take the Law Mage's Binding, super late Law Mage's Binding. Yeah, people know that Dovin's Acuity is not good. I'm very happy about that. I'm happy that the community has figured it out. I guess I'll take a Burn Bright. This deck looks very nice to me. Steeple Creeper is actually more playable than you might think. I have double Territorial Bore, so that would trigger it, get that extra damage in. That being said, I don't think I'm going to play it. I think I'd rather just work with what I've got. Important to note, I didn't get a Gift of Strength. I did get that Sagittar, but I didn't see really another time to take a Sagittar's Volley, so I think Sagittar's Volley is going to be really nice. But I think this deck is quite strong overall. So right now, I'm just going to choose my last couple slots. I'm going to group my creatures separately. I think the Locket is going to get cut. I think it was just playing an 8-drop without any ramp is unfeasible, really, in most decks. And I think that card is a bit of a trap. Any card that's super expensive like that is really not where you want to be a lot of the time. Do I want to play Steeple Creeper over something like a Rubble Slinger? That could definitely be correct, just because it triggers my Boars. And it's just a card that can trigger this. Maybe I'd rather play it than the Brush Strider. I think I'd rather play it than the Brush Strider. The Volley is definitely not getting main decked. Definitely not playing the Caretaker. Definitely not main decking Sagittar's Volley either. I think I have enough removal that I don't really care as much about that. But looking at this deck, it seems pretty good. I hope Immolation Shaman does well. Hello, Kindling. That's really good flavor text. My deck seems pretty solid overall. Have to make a couple more cuts. I'm definitely playing all these non-creature spells. I like Wrecking Beast, especially to try it out. I think it's going to be pretty effective. The Red Horns seem good. Maybe I cut one of my 2-drops. No, I don't really want to cut a 2-drop. I think I'm just going to cut a Rendhorn. I have to make 2 cuts. Jeez. I could cut a Clan Crusher, but don't really want to. I'm going to cut a Rebel Slinger. I think this is going to be a good build. I have a lot of 3-drops already. Like, these are, I do, like, a lot of the time you aren't going to want a Savage Smash on turn 3, but it's nice. I have, like, these cards do cost 3 mana. These can be a 3-drop. I think Rend Horn is going to be nice, but I do already have 3 5-drops. 2 Gore Clan Wreckers seems fine to me, because that Menace is pretty nice. These are the most 2 likely to get into the deck. This guy's not going to make the cut. Rush Strider is definitely a good sideboard card, but I think I'd rather have the 4/2 to start with because it triggers the Boars. And this card, Rebel Slinger and Rend Horn are definitely good, though. I think this is a pretty good Gruul deck, though. Pretty nice build of it. Yeah, I think I'll just run it like this. Maybe I would rather cut one of these 2-drops for another 3-drop. Let's just try out some more cards early on in the set. So let's just try Rebel Slinger here. Okie doke. Anyway, that is going to do it for the build. Let's sort by color. Okay, we are just going to go 9-8 in favor of red because we have slightly more red cards. Even though our early drops are a lot of green, we have a lot of red 3-drops and things like that. But anyway, that is going to do it for the build, and I hope you will stay with me for the matches. Hello, everybody, and welcome to round 1 of our first draft of Ravnica Allegiance. Unfortunately, going to have to start things off with a mulligan. Just didn't have any lands there. Here, though, I am going to keep. I am on the draw, and am I on the draw? I think I am. I didn't really get to choose. Show game log. Yeah, he's on the play. So I am going to keep this hand. Hopefully, just scry into a land. Put that on the bottom for sure. And hopefully just curve out perfectly. Okay, step 1 is a failure here. But we do have another turn to draw a land and start the curve off. And if we do hit a land, we can play a lot of cards. Okay, he's playing Thirsting Shade. I win. No, I'm kidding. It's not an automatic win. It's just the card isn't very good. Land. Every time. Here, we're not playing the Gravelhide Goblin because that trades here, and we're not going to play the Boar. We're just going to play the Immolating Shaman because that means that if he attacks with Thirsting Shade, we can just block, and he'll have to use mana to keep the Thirsting Shade from dying. Otherwise, he would be able to trade with the Thirsting Shade, and that's just not a scenario we really want. So, yeah. Luckily, we hit that land, so we can actually play a reasonable game. Even if we miss lands for a couple turns, we'll at least be able to develop a board until we can get our other things online. But yeah, I think we are in a... Okay, Acrobat. If I draw a land, I think I will just Savage Smash that. Okay, I didn't draw a land. Just going to play a Territorial Boar. Acrobat's annoying because I can't really block it here. Because if I block it with the 1/3, he can give a Death Touch. If I block it with the 2/2, the 2/2 just dies. So really a lose-lose for me here. But I'm starting to figure out my late game strategy. I'll get the Airynx with a counter, play this guy. I think the Clan Crusher is going to be good. Acrobat's going to hit me. Ooh, attacking with both. I'll block here. If he wants to spend 3 mana pumping it, I'm fine with that. If he's spending his entire turn pumping, I think that, like pumping his 2 guys, I think that's a victory for me. Hey, and I deal damage. Nice! Oh, I totally forgot about that. Oh, Immolation Shaman. You're so good. That's sick. I totally forgot about that. Nice. Okay. That's less nice. But he did essentially spend 4 mana killing my Immolation Shaman, so that gives me a little bit more time to stabilize. Hopefully I can draw a land and just use this Savage Smash. Booyah. We're just going to kill the Acrobat here. And then we don't want to block here because that's just not an ideal situation, I don't think. So just going to attack him for 4. If he spends his turn pumping this up to like essentially do 4 damage because he's going to deal 2, gain 2, then I think we're fine with that. And then next turn, if we draw a land, we can go Gift of Strength and Gravelhide Goblin or Frenzied Airings, attack for 3, Vigilance. Keep in mind, he's now got 5 mana, which means he has access to the 5 mana kill spell that Rakdos has at common. 5 mana, kill a creature, draw scry 1. So if he doesn't pump here and doesn't play anything, then that probably means that's what he has. Okay, but he is playing something. Gorkland Wrecker, sure. Hopefully we can hit a land. Always has it. Yep, it comes in with the counter, so this thing triggers, which means I can attack with Vigilance. Threaten the trade on the Gorkland Wrecker. And then I can also threaten the double block on the Wrecker. Though at this point, I think I would rather not double block the Wrecker because I can hold up Gift of Strength for future double blocks. And at 5 mana, I think it's important to play around the removal spell to some degree. He does only have 2 cards in hand, but that's definitely a card he could have quite easily. Also, I'm at a high enough life total that I don't really care about taking 3. Ooh, he's trading. That is very nice for me. Sign me up. He traded a 3/3 Menace for a 2/2. Okay. Could be a little threatening. He only has 1 card in hand, though. Okay, so what could he have here? Shoot. He could have the card that gives it Death Touch and draws a card. He could also just have a Spectacle card. Huh. He only has 1 card in hand. What could he have? What could he have? So he could have Skewer the Critics, deal 3 to this. I think I block here. I think Death Touch, draw a card is the most likely. Oh, it was a bluff. It was a bluff, but I know too much about the cards for the bluff to work. Uh-huh. Okie doke, so I will attack him for 4. It's always best to attack when you have your combat trick up. And then I'll play my 5 drop. This is why you never give up. My mulligan almost got stuck on 2 lands for a little bit, and then I drew a lot of lands in a row. And he has 6 lands in play, so he's flooded a little bit. Definitely nice to kill this. When you are making a bluff attack like that, it's important to be representing something, and none of the things he was representing were all that bad for me. If he had the give it Death Touch, that was going to get me eventually either way. Here, he might just attack and give it +2/+0 here with the Rakdos Trumpeter. The Bullrag Clan Crusher definitely looking like it's going to do some work here. I guess we'll see how good the card is. I was pretty high on it to start with. But now I can just hit him for 8 plus 3 if I need to, which is 11. So I'm just going to hit him for 8, put him under pressure, I think. Play the land to threaten the Frenzied Airings activation. Attack with both creatures. He's trading. He's definitely got a kill spell or something, or else he would have pumped. Okay. Interesting. Okay, that's a nice card to have access to. But I can use Gift of Strength if he wants to block one of my guys. Hopefully he blocks this guy. So essentially his card did basically nothing there. It saved 2 damage. But that's why the combat trick was pretty nice to have access to. And now next turn I have a really scary attack. Macabre Mockery is definitely an interesting card. I wasn't thinking about the fact that it's an instant, so you can do it on their turn. I assumed it was a sorcery when I was looking at this card. But that's definitely something to be aware of. I knew he had something because he didn't use the Rakdos Trumpeter. Okay, so another Thirsting Shade. This guy's deck does not seem very strong. Thirsting Shade is just really a poor card. Okay. So I can attack with the Frenzied Airings and pump. And he can like trade his whole board off. If he only double, okay. He's got trample, so he has no cards in hand. I'm fine with that. Actually, is this lethal? It's +3/+0, so it'll deal 6 to him. And then, oh, but he'll gain a life. Because I was thinking I would make this a 7. He would go down to 2, and then I would ping him. But that is not how that works. I still think I'm going to pump. Because this thing can have haste, so I can just get him out of nowhere. And, yeah, we're in good shape here. This is part of the reason that looking at cards beforehand is so important and evaluating them. Because I made a set review on all of the cards for all the guilds, not all the cards, but I went through the guilds and I talked about some of the cards that are bad, and this is actually one of the cards that I mentioned specifically. People love playing this type of card, and it's just really not effective. Okay, he has no cards in hand, so he's just dead. No need to show him any more of my cards. So it's 7, this is -3, so he takes 4 and dies. Okie doke. We take game 1. Despite our mulligan, our deck comes through. Okay, so let's think about what he had in his deck and how he would like to sideboard. So he is a potentially aggressive Rakdos deck. Makes me kind of want another 2-mana 2/2. So I think the Territorial Boar is definitely coming in. Sylvan Brush Strider trades for almost all the cards we saw, so I think we'd rather have that than the Steeple Creeper against a deck that is potentially very aggressive. He did show us multiple 1-drops, so we can get off to a fast start. So I think to start with, we've identified 2 cards we want to bring in. We'll take out the Steeple Creeper for the Brush Strider. Definitely a pretty clear move, I think. And then we can take out maybe one of our more expensive cards for a Territorial Boar, because it seems like we already have the late game pretty well underhand. So I think we'll bring in the Territorial Boar, and cut a what do we want to cut for it? Maybe cut a Wrecking Beast. I like keeping the Wrecking Beast in, but I think we'll cut the Wrecking Beast against this matchup. His deck doesn't seem to have a ton of late game power, and we're still going to have a pretty good amount of late game power. It's just we're not going to have to get run over early. So our two sideboarded cards, but unfortunately we're short on lands again, so we're going to have to mulligan again. This time we have our Wayfinder find us more lands. We are definitely going to put that on the bottom because we do just want to hit lands until we can play this Flames and win the game. Probably going to use the Wayfinder to find more lands. Perfect. Though obviously it'll be pretty dependent. If we draw another land, we probably will use it to find a spell. So he doesn't have a 2-drop. Very interesting. Definitely going to be using it to find lands when we have 2 4-drops in hand. Even if we see some of our strongest rares, I think we would probably still take the land. Okay, so we're definitely going to take a forest so that we have 2 of each color. We also have to keep in mind that our 6-mana mythic rare is a requires double green, I'm pretty sure. And that we have more mountains in our deck overall. It's also usually better just to have an even mix so you can like double spell with either color. So if he plays something worth killing, we'll just skewer the critics it. But it looks like he's doing nothing. So maybe his draw is a little bit mediocre. So we're definitely going to play the forest. Don't let him know that we have this mountain. Play it before combat so we can represent a little bit more. I don't recall off the top of my head whether there's an instant that costs 3 that I couldn't have cast for 2, but really no reason not to play it. And then I will be passing as well. I think right now I would like to play the Gorkland Wrecker for a variety of reasons. First of all, it looks like he might have a removal spell. It's actually really close. Because if he has Grotesque Demise, which I think is the name of the card, it exiles a creature with power 3 or less, in which case the Arinx would be a superior play. However, if I play Arinx and he does have... I don't think there's... I think I'm just going to play the Arinx to play around that one effect. I'll attack first, though, see what he has. Yeah, I'm thinking about it more. I was thinking that Gorkland Wrecker would be nice because then I can, on my next turn, attack, play Skewer the Critics for 1 mana, and play my Arinx. But now that I have a 5-drop, it doesn't really matter as much. Also, saving the Arinx means, I now have another 4-powered creature to trigger Flames. So I'm just going to play this card, have it enter with the counter for sure. So that he can't use Grotesque Demise end of turn to really get me. He might also be holding the 3-mana deal 3 damage, deal -2/-2 to each creature. That would be a card that I would consider 3 damage, and then I discard 2. I don't know why. I wonder why he didn't cast that last turn. Oh, okay. So he was just holding some removal. I'm just going to make the most mana efficient play. Definitely going to give it the counter. And then next turn I can Skewer the Critics and Brush Strider if I don't draw a land. It's interesting whether or not I would rather just give this the haste. I think probably haste would be good. Okay. So he just had a very heavy removal hand, it looks like. Which means maybe it would be better to just play the Brush Strider to bait him a little bit. Definitely going to play the Brush Strider here. Holding up red mana to represent the Frenzy card. Not the Frenzy card, the +1/+0 first strike scry. There's also a +1/+1 counter card in green I could be representing. So it really doesn't really matter which mana I hold up here. So he's got a lot of lands. He's probably got like 3 removal spells or something. Huh. Do I want to play this with haste? I don't think so. I think he probably has another removal spell. So I might just want to play... This is a... Oh man, it's close. I'm just going to play it. No, I don't really want to. I kind of just want to save it so I can trigger my flames. I'm just going to attack him and see what he does. And then I can just start using my Immolation Shaman. I can just pay 5 mana to give it +3/+3. Because this kind of like combo is really useful. Okay. So I can attack, trade off. I'd like to use the second part of this ability to kill the tokens. So I guess. Okay, I'm going to attack for 1. 4? If I attack like this, I think I'm just going to attack like this. And then I'll play my Rendhorn and Skewer the Critics, the 5/3. And then next turn, if he plays a creature, I can kill it with flames. Oh. Definitely going to use this. Maybe he forgot about it, but eating his creature essentially for free is really nice. And then I'm going to hold the land in my hand in case he has a discard effect. I think... I don't... Actually, there's not a discard effect. That was bad. I mean, there is one, but it's in like white and black. There's like the white and black color, like gold card. Interesting attack. Probably has a Revel card, but... Oh, there is a black-red one. Okay, so... So I'm going to attack for 1. He has enough mana for this to actually be kind of annoying. So we're just going to deal the damage, play our Skewer the Critics on this card. Actually, we don't care about that card. We're just going to play our Rampaging Rendhorn, because we can just kill that with Flames of Razebore anyway, if he takes the mana to cast anything. +1/+1 counter. Thank you very much. This is the problem with running like 1-drops in your deck, is you are going to draw a lot of lands in a normal game. Just makes it pretty ineffective. Keep in mind, he could have that other Rakdos card he showed us earlier that takes a card from our graveyard. But if he plays like a reasonably sized creature here, oh yeah, okay, so this thing can pump itself. It doesn't even matter. We'll just kill this thing and kill everything else. I think we have lethal here. 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that card's disgusting. No, we had lethal! We had lethal! It didn't matter, you didn't have to concede, we're going to win anyway. But anyway, that is going to do it for match 1. Got that victory over Rakdos, and I hope you'll stay with me for round 2. Hello, hello, hello everybody, and welcome to round 2 with this Gruul deck in our first ever draft of Ravnica Allegiance. We would like to play first. Hopefully we do not have to mulligan this time, and we do not. We can keep this hand. The benefit of hybrid mana. We can go Gravelhide into Rubble Slinger with a Skewer the Critics. Hopefully we can draw a Forest soon. Ooh, playing against the Azorius. This hand should be pretty good against the Azorius, I think. Because we have our Rubble Pelt Slinger and a Skewer the Critics could be pretty effective as well. Azorius turns on a little bit in the mid game. It's got some pretty powerful flyers. But otherwise it's not the scariest deck. I think it's probably like... I think that Azorius and Orzhov are probably the worst, but that's just from looking at the cards. I'm not sure right away. Okay, he has a counterspell. Yep, I'm not going to play around that, especially when I haven't seen one. Good to know he has it for game 2, though. Okay, lock it. He's really ramping up to something. Give me a forest deck. Come on, you know you want to. Ooh, yeah. Definitely going to put the counter on this so my Clan Crusher can eventually remove it. Things are looking up. That was a really timely draw of forest. Shimmer Possibility is really bad. I do not think you should be playing this card, especially because there's so many cards that care about like playing things at instant speed and such. Okay. Sure. I can still make use of the counter that I put on it, which is pretty nice. Oh yeah, that card is really bad. I do not like that card at all. So I could skewer the critics this and ping it. Seems effective. Then I can start attacking with my ball rock. So if I skewer the critics, that's 1 mana. And I haven't played a land yet this turn. Alternately, I could put him to like 5, but I don't think that's effective. Oh, I counted wrong. My bad. I still think that's a pretty good play. Yep. So far, all the cards my opponent has played have been pretty mediocre. Ooh. See, it is double green. If he has another quench, I guess he has another quench. This is lethal. Yeah. Boom! Because we can fight it. Oh, great. That was an awesome top deck, not gonna lie. This card's disgusting. Yeah. So playing against Azorius. Sylvan Brush, not Sylvan Brush Strider. The Sagittarius Volley definitely seems like a card we will want. I'm glad we took one for sure. 4/4s are nice statted bodies against him. Not really a huge fan of territorial boars and stuff, I don't think. I need to bring it in at least. Don't really need the Brush Strider. Doesn't do well against the 2/5 that we saw. But the Rampaging Rentorn does. So, I do think we want to stay relatively low to the ground. But I think we can afford to cut some of our more medium cards for cards that are more effective in the matchup. So Rentorn, probably not necessary, but I think we'll cut a Boar as a card that's less effective against him for a Sagittarius Volley, which is going to be more effective against him. Steeple Creeper might not be the best either. Since we cut the Boar, we'll cut the Steeple Creeper for another Rentorn. Be a little bit better prepared for the late game. So we cut some of our more aggressive stuff for more controlling stuff, but that doesn't mean we can't have aggressive starts. And also our cards are just more individually powerful. And they mulliganed. Okay, we'll keep this hand for sure. Keeping opening hands feels so good. When you're used to winning on a mulligan to 6, then it's really nice. Gonna lead with our mountain. Gonna play this Immolation Shaman. Maybe Savage Smash something. Savage Smash is really good. Saedra Servant gets completely destroyed by Immolation Shaman. That's funny. Saedra Servant is a pretty good card, though, I think. It's important to be able to not get rushed down early. I think it's probably worse than Omen Speaker. Let's see what he did with his stuff. Show game log. He put both on the bottom, so maybe he's digging for lands. Maybe he has a lot of lands already, and those were both lands. But I don't mind drawing lands. So if he plays like a medium-sized creature, we can Savage Smash it next turn. We're definitely not gonna Savage Smash a Sage Rose Savant though. Okay. Okay, with the second Savage Smash, I think we do want to use it. And we'll use it on the cat. The reason being is if we doing nothing on that turn is really bad, and also we have a lot of stuff. He has like 2 creatures we're gonna have to trade off, and just push us under a little bit of pressure. I could just kill this thing. I think that's what I'm gonna do. That seems a little bit risky though. The problem is I mean I don't really care about the 1/1s. And he might not have a multicolored spell. So casting this card is really appealing. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna do that. I can just use my Clan Crusher next turn to get some value. And if he's casting a gold card, it means he's not holding up his counter magic that can counter my spell unless I pay 2. Okay, so he has a Sphinx of New Prov. So I'm glad I saved my removal spell because I'd much rather kill the Sphinx. Cost an extra 2. Yep. So I'll pay my 5 mana. I'll develop the... It could be really hard to kill the Sphinx if I don't kill it now. And I don't see anything I'd rather kill, so I'm just going to get it out of the way. So I can give this +2/+2 or this +2/+2. I think I'll hold back the Immolation Shaman and attack with this guy. No, I don't want to attack with it. I'm going to just hold them both back, I think. So I think I'm in good shape here. I can give this thing haste and make it a 5/5. I have my 2 Clan Crushers. So it looks like he's holding up counter magic here. I'm going to pass there. He's a little bit mana screwed. I could play my Rebel Slinger. Or I could just run my Ball Rock into it. I'm just going to run my Ball Rock into it. He could just be holding up the Addendum, draw 2 card. Yeah, it looks like that's what it was. Don't think there's a reason to not try and cast my 5-drop. Law Mage's Binding. Okay. Okay. I see you. Little does he know. Yep. So he's made 3 1/1s with that guy, which is pretty annoying, but what can you do? I could have like killed it, I guess. I'm just gonna get this guy down, ping his hero. And the 1/1s are just not a huge deal. Ouch. That's a pretty decent series of draws, I will say. he has Quench in his hand, I don't think he does. I like just getting my 5-drop out with a counter on it so it can attack past the 2/5. Pretty soon this thing's going to be able to attack. I have a lot of really good draws in my deck. The Worm that can fight things. Just kind of was a little bit unlucky that he had so many gold cards to go with his stuff. That's a real good card. Okay. So let's attack with our 5/5. We're pretty fine trading it with this thing because this is only pressure. Okay, so now we can kill this guy, I think. Nah. We don't really care about that thing. I think we just want to play this, the counter on it. He didn't block, so he just took a big hit. And he only has 1 card, so he's not going to be making that many more 1/1s. Give me a mountain. There we go. Okay. Okie-doke. So that's a decent block there. Okay. I'm just going to get extra damage to him. Apply some more pressure. And I'll kill that guy. And now my Immolation Shaman can start attacking him as well. My Menace guy becomes a lot more potent. Okay. That was a really good draw. And now I can just start pumping this guy every turn. I can do 1, 2, 3, then skewer it. Perfect. I think I'm in pretty good shape here. Boom! We got the W. Things were looking sketchy there for a while, but our amazing deck came through. 2-0, headed to the finals, looking to get that first trophy of the set, and I hope you'll stay with me for the finals. Hello, everybody, and welcome to round 3. Here in my first ever Ravnica Allegiance Draft. I'm actually playing against someone that I kind of know from Twitch chats. We're going to keep this opening hand. It's pretty solid, and he is on a mulligan. Let's see whether they scry to the top or the bottom. Put it on the top. Okay. Hopefully we hit our 3rd land and things go smoothly. Ooh, playing against Simic. Okie dokie has a Sage Rose Savant. Doesn't match up well against my Rebel Slinger, that's for sure. Put one on top and one on bottom. Perfect. Land is exactly what I wanted. I have a couple of removal spells for his creatures and oh gosh. Definitely just gonna kill that. There's no reason to get fancy here. That could be devastating. He could literally play a 6-drop next turn, so I just have to kill that on sight pretty much. Not really a huge option. Just going to play my most expensive card for mana efficiency reasons. He can adapt this thing. Hopefully he doesn't have a second one. Definitely not blocking. Going to attack, play my Bolrac Clan Crusher. If he has a counter, he has a counter. Yep. I figured he had a counter or something like that, but I'd rather have that counter than my Savage Smash, I think. Oh no. That's unfortunate. Well, I can kill this thing now. So I'm in a pretty decent spot here. He could tempo me out potentially, but he is a little bit short on lands, I say, as he draws a land. But if I hit another land, I can play a creature and immediately use Savage Smash with it. Oh my god. Okay. So I guess I just have to hope for the best. That's definitely a little bit scary, though. I do have my Gift of Strength, though, which is nice. Oh, dear God. How many counters is he going to take? Probably just one. Oh, two. Yeah, that's a 7/7. So I'm going to Gift of Strength Savage Smash, I think. So I have 9 power. I'm just going to pass. Doing my best to stabilize here. Okay, Growth Spiral is pretty bad. I'm glad that he's having to spend mana on that. Thank goodness for Rebel Slinger, I guess. I can't help but feeling like this is a little bit awkward. Yeah, I lose. Oh, I needed a land for so long. I don't actually lose. I can still, like, chump block this thing. Draw a removal spell, win the game. I can draw the card. No, I can't even draw that card. I have to draw a different removal spell. Feel like this was just a little bit unlucky, but happens. I've had my share of good fortune. Definitely have to jump there. Yep, and that's game. Definitely a little bit unlucky, I think, but we have good sideboard answers. Sagittarius Volley is going to be clutch. Definitely liking my bigger spells here. So I think I'm going to cut a Territorial Boar for a Sagittarius Volley. And then try to find a spot for this guy. Maybe I'll cut a Steeple Creeper for him. Yeah, I like that plan. Okay, let's get the W. Definitely a bit of a sketchy hand here, but if we hit a forest, we're pretty much guaranteed to hit another land. We're going to keep. I think it's just barely good enough. If we hit a land, we can skewer the critics something. His deck is very good, though. He has a lot of very powerful cards. Terramander is not a card I'm worried about at the moment. Forest? Heck yeah. Just looking for lands. Ooh, yeah, we hit that mountain. I'm pretty fine trading off here. This guy is more valuable later. Yeah, I have to kill that, probably. I'm going to play the Clan Crusher. It's a little bit less threatening than the Rendhorn. Also, I can play the Rendhorn, put a counter on it, and then use the Crusher immediately. I'm hoping that I can draw a land, use the flames to kill this, and then another creature. That's my hope. Growth Spiral, eh? Could definitely mean another small creature coming. Looks like he's holding up a mana for a counter spell. Really wish I'd hit a land here so I could just play the land and hold up flames for his end step. As is, I think I'm just going to play Zeratul Goblin with a counter on it. Play around his counter spell a little bit. If he trades, I'm pretty fine with that. His guy's a little bit scarier than mine. Jesus. Oh, that was brutal. Yeah, that's a card that I should have played around, I guess. I had a feeling he had a counterspell. Okay, the Liz Frog. Not a real threat here. We're still in fine shape. I'll play this with a counter and then use the Savage Smash. If he has another of the other card as his last card, then I lose, but now I can trade this off, play my 5/5, and be in great shape. I'm actually going to give it haste. It's a 4-turn clock this way instead of a like 5-turn clock because he's an odd number. And this means it can already attack through this thing. Bouncing doesn't do all that much. He put one on top and one on the bottom. That's bad news. I was hoping he put both on the bottom. Okay. I really needed. I don't think I mean, I drew this card, but I think I misused it a little bit this game. I just walked right into the Applied Biomancy. That's a factor of the format being being very new and me just not being used to all the cards I could play around. I thought it would just get countered. So he scryed a card to the top. I have to attack with both though. Yep. Oh, so frustrating. Crassus. Oh god. Oh man, that's frustrating. Oh man. Ooh. Hello, baby. Lethal out of nowhere. Still in the game. So I give it haste. Booyah. Yes! We're still in the game! We are still in it, boys! Oh my god, the perfect draw! Oh, that was exciting stuff. Oh, that was so exciting. Ooh, baby. Whew. Oh, man. That was king clutch, as they say. I kind of want this guy. The 4-2 seems like a big body in the matchup. Oh my goodness. Rentorn seemed a little bit worse than I thought. I'm going to take out the Clan Crusher. Oh man. That was insane! What a rip! Right off the top, baby! We have our 2-mana 3/3. our best start for the deck. We also have Sagittarius Volley, which is going to be especially effective because of his Terramander, which we can just kill. So we're hoping that he taps out for the Homunculus thing. We haven't seen the 2-mana counter, and we're not going to play around it. Okay, Growth Chamber Guardian. Disgusting. Oh, yes. Monsieur Sagittarius. Glad to meet you, bud. That was brutal for him. I don't know why he didn't block there. Probably has a counterspell. Thank God he doesn't have multiple. Thank goodness. Now I'm definitely not going to walk into his spells. Because he's holding up 5 mana. He's probably got his counterspell. I can just wait, bide my time. Put a counter. This costs 8 mana. Dang, Sagittarius Volley was so clutch. What a key pick. We're just waiting until we draw a land so that we can use our Flames of the Raised Boar. I really wish we'd drawn a land right here, because, I mean, we wouldn't get the full value, but we could kill the Growth Chamber Guardian, which would be nice. Saedro Savant, pretty useless. Put both on top. Yikes. That's terrifying. Probably means he's got his 2 bombs. Land, there we go. So this is 7. So he's got 1, 2. So he can adapt this Terramander. Not really where I want to be. Comes a 5/5. Force is a big draw. Doesn't go for it. Sure. Land. So this costs 6 mana to adapt. It normally costs 8, he's got 2, and he only has 5 up. Ooh. Sure. He uses counterspell. I'm fine with that. Maybe I was just supposed to attack there and use my Gift of Strength, but I think he has applied Biomancy up. What did he mill? He milled Rampaging Savage into the land. Yeah, he's got to adapt it now. Okay. Shoot, I didn't put those in the right order. Oh no. Damn. That's unfortunate. Should not matter. I hope he doesn't have another counterspell. Been a really awkward draw. For me, at least. Also messed up that Gift of Strength play pretty badly. And I suicided this guy for no reason, but I don't think I'm going to lose the game because of that. Jeez. Too many instants. He has a couple counter spells. Ugh. I also targeted the wrong one, but I'm pretty sure he has applied Biomancy. It doesn't actually matter which one I target. Okay, here's the turn. So even if I had this extra guy as a 3/3, this would be 5, 7, 13 damage. Yeah. GG. Whew. Super close games. I think he just had a slightly better draw there. Maybe I was supposed to save my Sagittarius card for the... I definitely think I was supposed to kill the 1/1 before it became a problem, but it was really hard with the draw that I had, I think, to win that last game. But anyway, that is going to do it for this draft video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe to get updates for whenever I post new content. I really do appreciate each and everyone who supports the channel by doing that. Also, you can check out my Twitch stream. I do stream. That is twitch.tv/NicolaiBolas. If you have any comments, be sure to leave those in the comment section down below. But anyway, that is going to do it for this first foray into Ravnica Allegiance. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you next time.